How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brown Logan, and today we got to talk about California, in this case being led by their Attorney General Xavier Becerra, potentially suing Trump's administration about a question that's going to be on a 2020 census. Now, I've not seen the full text of the question. If you have, let me know in the comments below. I've not been able to find it, but basically it's going to be asking about citizenship. Are you here legally? Are you here illegally? Are you a citizen? What's going on? I don't really know what's going to happen. Now, before I even get into it, those could be two different questions depending upon how you look at it. Are you here legally or are you a citizen? You could be here legally while not being a citizen. You could have a green card. You could have a work visa. There are ways to be in the U.S. legally while not being a citizen, but you could also be here illegally. You could be sleeping on Maria and Jorge's couch, watching Telemundo all day, eating bonbons, not working, whatever you're doing, stealing somebody's identity, whatever it is. So you have those two extremes of the situation. Now, the reason why California and their AG, Becerra, are trying to sue Trump's administration, or the federal government really, but that's a whole different story, and I digress. The reason why they're trying to sue is because they're saying that this is illegal, it's unconstitutional, and it hasn't been done before. First of all, this has been done before. From 1820 to 1950, the question about citizenry was on a census. It was there in some form or another. After 1950, it was not on the short form census, but it was on the long form census. That lasted until the year 2000. After 2000, it was put on a thing called the ACS. That's the American Community Survey, and also on the Current Population Survey. These things I mentioned, the ACS and the Current Population Survey, these are not the census itself, but they're very similar to the census. And they're done by the government to understand what's happening with the community. Do you have a large area of people that are here illegally, legally? What is the citizenship? And these things can help you get the necessary resources for your community. If you have a place that has a lot of people that don't speak English or whatever, maybe there's more funds dedicated towards ESL, education, whatever the case may be. This is how things get funded. This is how society operates. And not everybody's going to participate in the census, but it's at least good to have questions there to give people a general idea about what's happening. There are other ways to figure out what's going on. You got police records and stuff like that, but that's a whole different story. But basically, they're trying to say it's tantamount to voter suppression and things. But here's my question to everybody asking. It's probably the elephant in the room, quite honestly. If you have a family that's here illegally, do you think they're filling out their form regardless of what's on it? It doesn't matter if they have a question about, are you here legally, illegally, whatever it is. If I'm not in the country legally, why would I fill out anything? I don't want to fill out nothing. I don't even want to fill out an application for a job really with my own name on it. You see, you want to do things under the radar. So giving the government any kind of information doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And it's funny how the left wants to be against this because they say that it scares people and intimidates them because they're giving out the personal information to the federal government. Well, what about DACA? Isn't that the same thing? You got to tell the government that you're here illegally. So if we know that there's 800,000 or whatever DACA recipients, then why is that okay for them to tell the government they're here illegally? But when talking about the census, which is a voluntary thing, you don't have to sign it out if you don't want to, because a lot of folks don't. So why is it wrong for the census to have a question about citizenry, but the DACA thing is based all on citizenry, and you give that to the federal government? Maybe it's because you get benefits directly, allegedly, from DACA and not from the census, although that's not even really right either, because with the census, you're able to get certain things for your community based upon what's happening with the demographics. And shout out to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She had a great exchange between her and I forget the girl's name, but I'll put that exchange in the box below. The young lady was from NBC Nightly News. I think her first name was Kristen or Kirsten or something. She told the young lady, like, hey, we need this because this is how we follow our own laws, the Voting Rights Act and stuff like that. We want to make sure that everybody in the community is accounted for and we know how to best serve them, essentially. She didn't say that last part, but that's basically what she was saying, talking about the Voting Rights Act, etc. So I don't have much more to say. This is just one more thing that the California government is trying to do to separate away from the federal government. I think here, as I close, what they want to do at the end is become their own republic, maybe like DPRK, North Korea, and just do whatever they want to do, have their communism or whatnot. Maybe the wall needs to be built starting at the border of California and Nevada, or California, Arizona, and go all the way up Nevada and just cut across right where you have the Northern California and Southern Oregon line. And maybe even beyond that, we can separate LA and San Fran into their own little enclaves, and the rest of California could be free from their clutches. But I don't have much more to say. What say you? Do you think it's racist to have the question on the census about are you here legally, illegally, or what have you? Some would say it's about Mexico. That's why I made a joke about Telemundo and stuff like that earlier. But it ain't just about them. It's about all these other countries. People come over here illegally and stay. People that are on expired green cards and all this and that. People that come from Bosnia, Nigeria, Russia, wherever. They're here illegally. We should know that. I don't see it as a really big issue. And like I said about DACA, if you can fill out a form about DACA and say, I'm here illegally, give me some help, then why is that okay? But the census, which is designed in many ways the same way that DACA was designed to give people help, because this data helps the government help you. Why is one wrong with the other one right? I don't know. Maybe it's because the left supports one more than the other, or one measure more than the other. Maybe it's just California, again, trying to break free from the federal government. Maybe it's in contempt of the Trump administration. They're going to do whatever they can to get under his skin, and by proxy get under the rest of our skin. Those of us who do not believe in that far leftist ideology. Even some leftists don't even like what California is doing. Not the California citizenry necessarily, but their leadership, which we all know is terrible. So whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.